You're listening to Parasearch Radio, news, views and reviews from the world of the paranormal from across the UK and beyond. Find us on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web. Parasearch UK Radio. Parasearch Radio, broadcasting to the UK and beyond.
The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to Kerry Greenaway and Mark Manley on the Dark Mirror Paranormal Show, only on Parasearch Radio.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the Dark Mirror Show. I am your very special host, Kerry Greenaway, and with me tonight is... it's me, Mark Manley, and with me tonight we have also got the Mr. Carl Powerhouse himself. Just say hello, Carl.
Hello.
Hello. Kerry is here.
How was my little cupcake of this evening?
Which little cupcake are we talking to? Me or the dog or...
Oh, Mark, of course it's you.
Right, okay.
You'll always be my cupcake.
I feel strongly refreshed tonight.
And you look like you've lost a little bit of weight. So
I may possibly, yes. I may just have lost a bit of weight. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good. Yes. Jet lag gone. Touch wood.
Till the next time.
I'm doing good.
Till the next time. Well, tonight we are carrying on down that rabbit hole that, basically is yours and my thing. And Kerry decided, right, we're going to open it up and do Alice in Wonderland and just to jump down that rabbit hole. Yeah. But Kerry is on 2 weeks leave at the moment because she's having a bit of a break. So it is down to us tonight. And tonight we're going to be talking about reptilian shapeshifters. And if you remember the program, then you'll know exactly what it is. So, that's live long and prosper, isn't it?
Oh, it's the only way I can do a V. I could do that, but that's slightly rude.
I mean, there's no need to do that to people listening, really, is there? I mean, that's just rude. But what do you... I see the reptilian conspiracy. I'm just like... I love my alien stuff, and I believe in aliens and this, that, and the other. And yes, I do think there are reptilian aliens and this, that, and the other. But the conspiracy, the David Icke thing, and everything like that.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that I'm kind of interested in. Obviously, we got David Icke, who was like the sports anchorman for the BBC. And
he was.
All of a sudden, he's now the spokesperson for the upper echelon of the reptilian shapeshifting league that he talks about, and just completely and utterly out on another little branch that he's sitting on, which is amazing. But yeah, it is one of those subjects which, when you get into the UFO, when you get into like the different types of aliens, which you guys amazingly covered last week, and then you start drilling down to it, and all of a sudden you open these little holes. And one of the holes that we seem to have dropped ourselves into is alien shapeshifters.
Yeah, see, it's like the whole, the Beyonce "Death by Snoo Snoo" picture. It's really. She was just like doing a contortion, and her muscles were everywhere in a very flimsy suit, and the picture was taken at the wrong time.
Well, that's one of the things, is a lot of these evidence that people post. And today and the last couple of days, I've gone through YouTube, the worldwide wonderful web, and some of the videos and some of the pictures Wow, it's just because obviously we are now a nation of cameras because everybody's got a camera in their pocket.
It is
People
1984.
take photos at the most awkward moments. It's like when you're on Skype and the camera freezes and you look like you're yearning. Or...
Look like you lost 2 stone. Yeah,
exactly. It's incredible. But there are people out there, and I don't knock them for their beliefs. That are so into this subject. It's amazing.
Well, I'm just. I mean, the thing is, they link Beyonce and a few others to the Illuminati and this, that, and the other. And then the Illuminati's been linked with aliens. Then it's been linked with reptilian aliens. Then they link, and it's just like, yeah, I listen to some pretty wacky stuff, but flipping heck, I mean, core, spank my bottom with Shirley. I just, no, not with half of that, no. What do you...
No, I know, but the thing that one of the subjects which, when I first started looking into this, obviously when we decided we're going to do this type of show, you start looking at some of the more obscure or the more, you're out there, you've been smoking some mushroom type of views, and you look at the celebrities that people believe are alien shapeshifters. You go from Beyonce, you go to when he was alive, Michael Jackson, and I just remember, I just sat there looking through this list, and I just remember the bit out of Men in Black 2 when they were talking to the agents on the big screen.
Yeah.
And they were talking about different aliens, and obviously Will Smith was saying about, there's my science teacher. Yes, and all these celebrities then were on there, like Michael Jackson and all these people. And you were just like, wow.
But his nose did fall off.
Well, I don't think that was alien. I think that was probably down to the many, many surgeries he had. That his nose fell off.
Well, I mean, I have that problem. My leg falls off occasionally, but
that's because you haven't got a leg.
I thought it was alcohol. That's just rude.
Well, it is rude, but
you heard it yourself. Oh my God, Mr. Carl Hutchinson, that's just disableist.
Well, it's the Dark Mirror show. We're allowed to say what we like.
Do I look offended? No.
It's one of those moments where you look at some of the more stranger points of this subject, and like Beyonce is the head of the reptilian shape-shifting hierarchy. Trust me, people. Just go on YouTube, go on Google, put in Beyonce, the words that shouldn't really go. Beyonce alien shapeshifter, and see the different types of videos that come up. You will be blown away by it. Yeah,
they are. Yeah, I mean, a lot of those photos, as you were saying, I mean, they do look like somebody's been caught either at the happy ending of a massage or on the toilet. Yeah. But anyway, I'm still not sure about Beyonce. I'm really not. I mean, David Icke thinks the Queen's one, but I'll tell you what. Shall we start with the 5 signs that someone may be a reptilian shapeshifter?
Well, this is quite interesting because I've not actually got to that part of the research on it. So I want to sit here and just think of anybody I know that potentially has these 5 signs.
Right. Well, first of all, the hypothesis of the aliens is basically the reptilians control the world via a shadowy organization known as the Global Elite or the Illuminati, which we were just talking about. And they create religious, ethnic, and sexual division to keep humanity in a state of constant fear and chaos. Bit like the church. No, Father, I poop from there. Due to this constant state of division, David Icke believes that reptilians are able to rule the world in a totalitarian fashion. And he spent the greater part of the past 25 years writing books and giving lectures about these aliens. Yet he has not uncovered any conclusive proof that any world leader is a reptilian alien. But he does give you the 5 pointers to how to spot if your next door neighbour's an alien. I mean, these are brilliant. These, right?
Would it be the flying saucer in the driveway? Is that one of the signs?
A little bit more obvious than that, actually.
Oh, is it?
Right.
Okay. What, they can lick their own eyeballs? from the inside?
Pretty much. I mean, number one is look for reptilian eyes. If you're wondering how to spot a reptilian, then obviously the first place to look for is its eyes. Some people say that these shapeshifters have reptile-esque eyes if you look closely enough. Others say it's possible to spot the reptilian eyes only sometimes, i.e. Beyonce, while they are in the midst of shapeshifting. So the next time you suspect that a world leader or your next door neighbour, or maybe even your nan, may be a reptilian, and according to conspiracy theories, almost all of them are, take a close look at their eyes. Are they like vertical slits?
Mark, just sorry to jump in there, because reptilians blink in a different way to humans. Obviously, humans blink down and up.
That's right.
And reptilians blink from side to side, don't they?
Yeah, because they've got a third and fourth eyelid, don't they?
Yeah. So what we're looking for is people that blink weird.
Oh, that must mean Richard Clement must be in the chat room. Richard, you blink weird, don't you? Oh, I don't know. Oh, and hello, everybody else is in there. Do you know what? To be absolutely fair there, Carl, I think everybody on Parasearch Radio and everybody like myself, yourself, Kerry, Jay Lynch, and everybody else who does these shows, I rather think we may be aliens as well. I'm not too sure. I mean, I've already got the one hand that is built to fit various things, and the one leg which is a bit like Robocop because various attachments can be put on it, including multi-vibration function. But that's for another show. We may already be there halfway. But I definitely.
Well, we don't want to announce it just yet, but you've mentioned the Illuminati. Maybe this network is the next power base to take over the world.
Well, no, with the amount of bleeping and swearing that goes on, it's the Bluminati,
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's the good thing with the Bluminati, yeah.
The Bluminati, yes.
Like
And you just know they're all sat back there listening to us go, oh my God, shut up, please don't tell anybody reptilians. You're aliens, all of you, including me. Not sure about Carl, though. He may be an alien.
I'm definitely an alien.
Are you looking the inside of your eyeballs now?
According to my passport, I am.
Oh, okay. What does it say where you come from? Uranus?
No, I just talk out of it a lot.
Don't wheel. Anyway, right, the 5 signs, sir, and the number 2 sign. All right. Remember, you're looking for aliens. Check for signs of scales or odd textured skin.
Well, oh come on! I live in Kent. I live opposite an island called the Isle of Sheppey, and we call them the Swamp. That's half the population down here that have got scales.
I thought you were going to say about Camp Island then.
Yeah. I'm never going to be able to leave my house again.
No, you're not. No. Oh God, number 3.
Thank God if any of my neighbours don't know what I do. They just think I'm a weirdo that comes in and out of the house at all times of the day, dressed in black, carrying silver cases in and out of the house. They don't know what I do. I don't really talk to my neighbours that much. So
right.
I'm pretty safe. I'm pretty safe that there's nobody in my area going to be listening to this that potentially lives close. So
I normally wander in and out in high vis gear, sometimes carrying long things in bags that look vaguely like firearms, But
hey, we all have our crosses to bear.
Oh, and you said that at Easter.
Exactly. Anyway. That's why I said it. Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter, yes. Happy Hollow Egg Day. And number 3, watch to see if the hologram flickers. Just, wow. I'm sorry,
okay.
Can you just let that a moment of silence for David Icke's IQ there? Watch and see if the hologram flickers. This is the same man that said all disabled people are disabled because they were nasty in a former life. As you can see, he's already in my good books. Watch to see if the hologram flickers.
Right. So we are looking for people with weird eyes, people with scales, and people out of the type of matrix that sort of flicker a little bit.
Oh.
Do you know these people? Is there anybody out there in this, listening to this studio, listening to this show, that has somebody in mind that you can think, I'll tell you what, that's 3 out of 3. Oh my God.
Do in-laws count?
What?
Do in-laws count?
In-laws? Oh no, they're not reptilian shapeshifters. They're just yeah, that's a different type of alien.
Well, I'm so glad the headset's on and Lindsay's going to sleep. I'll be slap stupid. Anyway, There's also on this website here, this David Icke, about the David Icke thing. It's got a thing, your reptilian experience. Have you ever seen a reptilian shapeshifter yourself? And you've got yes on TV, on the internet, yes in person, no, but I want to be prepared in case I do, no, and they don't exist, or I'm not sure.
Okay. So anybody actually doing this survey, or listening to this, or reading this, wow.
Yeah.
So it's okay. So we've got 3 signs so far. What's sign 4, Mark?
They have no soul, but that's the same thing they say about us gingers.
Yeah, this. So okay, all right, okay. We got 4, no soul.
Yeah, number 4 is no soul.
Go on. Hit me with number 5.
Number 5. All right. Your intuition is alerting you of a nearby reptilian, and it says, finally, after all my hard-hitting research on random internet forums, I found out that the most common way to spot a reptilian is simply one's intuition. According to more experienced lizard spotters, oh dear, if you feel like the person has an alien presence, then they could very likely be a reptilian. Your gut can't always be 100% right, but combine that with some holographic technical difficulties and a flash of scaly skin. Oh, sounds like my kind of porn. You may be onto something. Of course, just because you have a bad feeling about somebody, this doesn't mean they're a reptilian hybrid who is bent on taking the world. They could simply be an alien that wants to give you a probe. So why take any chances? Yes.
Right. Okay. So let me. Okay. I'm just going to recap for the listeners because I need to be the sound mind of this show tonight because I'm just going to take that mantle just for the first time ever because nobody ever would give it to me, so I'm going to take it.
You go for it, young man.
So you are looking for weird eyes, scales, no soul, and you have an intuition that they are not human.
So basically, we're talking about
what I would suggest, if anybody has at least 3 of those, possibly 4, if you've got all 5, I will give you the same advice. Get yourself into a vehicle, drive to the nearest psychiatric hospital, and check yourself in.
So basically, you're saying that somebody who's got milk bottle lens glasses, red hair, and possibly eczema, they need to go to... They need to go to the nearest psychiatric wing.
They're lovely. We love those sort of people. I'm talking about a person sitting there going, well, he's got ginger, he's got eczema, he's an alien, he's a reptilian shapeshifter. No, they're the people I want in a car, driving to the nearest psychiatric hospital, check yourself in for a little stay and a little hug jacket, and you will be lovely in the morning.
Cuddled with a struggle jacket. Yeah. That did make it in the best Somerset accent. That made I chuckle when I read that.
But, I'm sorry, this guy who's David Icke, which people all know. This guy currently, I believe, he's doing. I think it was the other week. He's actually down in Kent. He's down in Kent at the moment, and he's doing talks about this very subject at a local theatre about 15-20 minutes away.
So. Do you know what? You've got to go to that and sit in the back and just shout out, hang on, say I've got something stuck in my eyeball, and put a prosthetic tongue on and make it look like you're licking your eyeball.
No, I was just thinking about just getting out of the car in a sailor, not a sailor's outfit, because that's just... hey up, that's just my inner sailor coming out. No, I'm just thinking, put on a wetsuit, have some flashy lights and look weird and say, hello, mother, I'm here.
So Dan Aykroyd in Spies Like Us when he sees the Russians.
Yeah, exactly. That's the look we're looking for.
Right. Moving swiftly on. We'd better follow some of this script, haven't we? Because otherwise Kerry's going to kill us. Shall we do about the Chinese legends?
Yeah,
why? All right.
We might as well do a bit of actual research and talk about it.
In China, there is a huge mythology surrounding the dragon. What up, Bruce Lee? From being a part of their zodiac to the legends surrounding the Dragon Kings. You're right there, Carl. You wafted supplies away, mate.
Kung fu fighting, you know.
Although Dragon Kings
ward off those reptilian shapeshifters that might be coming through the windows.
Put some Laoguar on the windows. That will tell them that'll scare them off.
Mm.
Although Dragon Kings appear in their true forms as dragons, they have the ability to shapeshift into human form. They are linked to the 4 cardinal directions: north, south, east, west, and not there, father. And also control clouds and rain. You get it? Cardinal directions. Boom, boom. They are the 4 divine rulers of the 4 seas, and the Dragon Kings live in crystal palaces. I would have thought just Crystal Palace, really? Thought Tottenham Hotspur. Under the sea, which under the sea.
You beat me to it. I was going to sing that.
Which are supposed to be accessed via underground mountain caves and secret entrances. Ooh, secret entrance. Sound familiar? The dragon mythology is important across all of the Asian continent, and there's even a belief that the Japanese imperial family, and this is actually we've mentioned this in previous shows, claim direct descendant from Princess Toyotama, who was the daughter of the Dragon King.
Which is quite good, because at the moment we've got Game of Thrones happening at the moment with dragons, and now we're talking about dragons.
Yeah, but one of the dragons is really pervy. Did you see him staring at those 2?
Yeah, while they were making out.
Oh, that was, and he looked over his shoulder like,
all you want to see is just pan away and the dragon's waving one off.
And his brother's looking at him like, what you doing, mate? Serious, have a word.
Yeah, seriously, get your nose off the windscreen of that car you're looking in.
And then you have a scream, and he's got his claw stuck in the end. But
exactly. But no. So dragons, obviously, dragons have been through many, many cultures, many, many mythology, many points in history. There's a lot to do about dragons.
Well, dragons are pretty much in every culture.
Yeah.
But predominantly, you've got the water dragons, and you've got the Chinese and the Japanese dragons, and you've got the difference in, like, when you see pictures and tattoos as to how many claws they got, as to which is an emperor one, which is Japanese, which is Chinese. But
they have very small hands.
And they do. That's because they do.
Like a T-Rex. Why you got this scary monster? It's like a T-Rex, big feet, long tail, big head, big sharp teeth. And they got these things that just wave up and down.
Because they've got to give him a slightly effeminate, comical look.
Yeah, true.
Because, I mean, have you ever seen one trying to pull his jeans up? It's just funny. It's really funny.
Yeah. Or even if he's got an itch on his face, that moment, they're scratching too far below because they can't reach up to the nose.
Have you seen them fight? 2 T-Rexes fight. They just go up and bitch slap each other slightly.
Yeah, I've seen some YouTubes of that.
And Richard's going, how did we get to dragons making out? Have you not seen Game of Thrones with the dragons in? The latest episode? Two people are
making out. The dragons were the voyeurs of the piece. They were watching the Dragon Queen and Jon Snow having a little bit of a tete-a-tete in front of a very beautiful waterfall.
On the snow.
But we won't give any spoilers. Anybody's not seen it.
Apart from the fact that one of them's really perving at the pair of them, going, ooh, and he was even grinning, I swear.
Well, especially that he's making out with his auntie.
Oh, that's just weird.
That is weird. But now let's get back on subject.
Do you want to talk about the gin?
Yeah, let's talk about the gin. We like the gin.
We do. I like raspberry gin, and I like rhubarb gin.
Yeah. Vanilla gin's quite nice as well. Yeah. I like drinking ice cream.
Do you know what? My local has gin excursions, and they get lots and lots of different bottles of gin out and this, that, and the other. And when we go in now, I never remember coming home. Funnily enough, my daughter and my missus went in there, and they did every single gin that was on the menu over 2 days. It was brilliant.
I normally do that with bourbon.
Yeah, I do like my bourbon, but we can't exactly say that that's Reptilian.
Well, sometimes I feel Reptilian in the morning.
That's yeah. I think we've all felt like that. And Kerry's on the wine tonight, isn't she?
Right. So let's talk about the gin.
Yeah, go on then.
No. Over to you.
All right. Right. The jinn are within the Islamic faith, and the jinn are a complex system. And it's said that Allah created different forms of jinn. And of the jinn, there are 3 types. There's the types that have wings and they fly through the air, obviously. Either that or they advertise pushing BW beetles. A type that looks like snakes and dogs. And a type that stops for a rest, then resumes its journey.
This is the type that I didn't quite understand. The type that stops for rest and resumes its journey. What is that type? That just sounds like a lazy gin.
That sounds like somebody running for the bus and then going, "Do you know what? I'm too tired."
Yeah, I'm not going to make it.
Essentially, the actual belief from Islam is that everybody has a jinn attached to them. I probably do. It's probably vodka as well. Like a guardian.
I know few people, that are attached by jinn.
This is very true. And just for the people in chat room, somebody just said, "When's Carrie coming back from her break?" I did say 2 weeks. She's having a 2-week break.
Yeah, so me and Mark are let loose on tonight's show and next week's show without the mistress with her whip to keep us under control. So we are. What's it? The patients have taken over the asylum.
The asylum.
I think that's what the Dark Mirror show is going to be for the next couple of weeks.
Yes, because we can basically discuss everything, go off complete tangent like we do.
Absolutely, and we haven't got Kerry going and bring it back on subject.
Yeah, but every time Kerry and I and you do a show, we end up with about half the stuff that we've got left over for another show.
Exactly, which is good because that means we've got more shows to come.
Oh, we have. I think pretty much every single show we've done, we've got another show left out of that.
Yeah, which is good. Which is all.
Anyway.
Right, let's get back to the gym.
The actual belief from Islam is that everybody has a jinn attached to them, like a guardian angel, and they work for either the good or the bad within you. Yeah, that leaves a lot to question. Left to run amok with no control from the host, they feed on what you feed yourself. So if you're feeling negative and depressed, then they'll amplify that, and vice versa. If you're feeling horny, oh dear, that would explain the dragon. Yes. So really, it's a case of controlling your own personal demons. On the flip side of this, a jinn can be conjured to perform whichever energetic feat you set it, good or bad. Do you know? I can just see Robin Williams as the genie. I really can.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. I can see where Davey Icke is coming from on this, because he's obviously had too much gin in his life, and
yes.
He's seeing things that, potentially are there.
I don't know how he went from being a sports pundit to being... I'm trying to think of a word to describe him that I can use on the airwaves.
The new Messiah. At one stage, he was the new Messiah, wasn't he? He was the new Messiah.
That's right, yes. Yes, he was.
Before he then decided he wasn't the new Messiah, but he was then the spokesman for the reptilian shapeshifters.
Of which he's ever had any proof.
No, but he seems to be selling out tours that he goes around the country, so he must be doing something right.
Ah, bless him. He's made damn sure that the sales of tinfoil sheets have gone up by 100-fold, so that's good. Anyway. Yes, a jinn can be... You'll never see jinn in their real forms, but they're said to be able to appear as snakes or dogs, and during Ramadan as humans, very tired humans leaning on bus shelters. These forms are not to be trusted. On the whole, the subject of spiritualism mediums is regarded as misguided and having no place in the faith.
Which I can understand. From doing some research myself, particularly from the faith belief that it's come from being Islam, that anything, I can understand that.
It comes under as a form of magic, isn't it? And all that sort of thing's banned. So, and as it's faith and as it's a religion, I'm not going to.
No, we won't cover that.
No, we're not going to open that can of worms.
No, but let's talk about something which I know you're going to enjoy.
Go on.
You're going to love this one.
Chinese twins?
No, that's a different subject.
Oh, right, okay.
Show. The Sumerians.
Yeah, go on then.
Can you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yeah, basically these are ancient believers in God who have an aura. And
but their God was not just any God.
No, exactly. Exactly. And they have a belief that the human race is basically a slave race.
Hang on, human race? Hang on, sorry to butt in. Human race, that is why you get jinn leaning against bus shelters knackered, because they've been in the human race and they're just tired out. They came
Absolutely, yeah. They've been running, chasing after the reptilian jinns. But it's basically these people believe that the human race is a slave race, and the slave masters are this higher higher being, higher body, and whatever you want to call it, which basically just keep us in check.
What's the name of this hierarchy?
I'm not even going to try and pronounce it because I'm just going to make a fool of myself, and it's going to be like the Stickman thingy or the Alpaca Man things. And I'm not opening myself up to that because this thing sticks. This thing sticks on radio. So I'm going to try, and I do apologise if I basically offend anybody or I'm swearing in another language. Zach, no, I'm not even going to try it. Zachariah Stitchens or whatever it is.
That's it. Yeah, that's him.
Zachariah Stitchens?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, and this is a guy who basically came up with this belief in 1976, and his interpretation of the translations of the ancient Sumerian
cuneiform
tablets, and this is what he came up with about the human race are a slave race.
Well, they've since found a few more of those tablets, haven't they? And a few more Dead Sea Scrolls that also point to Planet Nibiru and the Anunnaki and everything like that. And Enki, who was supposed to have been Gilgamesh's partner, not partner as in woohoo, but partner as in friend, and went out traveling with him. He was supposed to be one of the from Planet Nibiru as well, wasn't he?
Well, yeah, exactly. And there's been some modern interpretations recently on these tablets and scrolls that they've found. And the myths and translations you can find from being associated with them, and they bring it back to the fallen angels, to the intelligent dimension politics and all this, which basically then links it back to the reptilian shapeshifters. So... it goes from one end and goes around and round and round, a bit like the Dark Mirror show. Starts with a subject, flies around a bit, ends on the same subject, and I think that's this particular type of case study, the Sumerians, which is an ancient race, a human race, and they believe this. They've done the sea scrolls, they did the whole tablets and stuff, but at the end of the day, it's somebody's interpretation of what they put on this thing. And this is why it's an interpretation of this particular group of people.
It also depends on the tablet. I mean, if it was Samsung, you could use it. But if it was one of these cheapies you get from the market, it probably went up the creek after 5 minutes.
Exactly. It'd be just flipping up and down. And
exactly, yeah. Wasn't even Android.
It's an interesting subject, particularly when you are looking at the ancient right, because obviously the Sumerians did exist. They were part of history.
And the Babylonians?
They did put stuff down. They did write about stuff. They put stuff on tablets. But it's an interpretation of these artifacts that basically there's people running around saying the human race is a slave race, and there's these weird reptilian shapeshifters cracking whips and keeping us in check.
Well, it's also, you've got to remember, there's another thing from the Sumerians and the Babylonians. I'm trying to remember the name of their queen, and she got bastardized and basically turned into a female demon who was the first ever vampire, and I can't remember her name.
I remember.
You know the one I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I was looking into, it wasn't Carmilla, I was looking into it, and the only reason it's got nothing to do with shapeshifters, but it has got everything to do with Babylonians. The only reason she got turned into that was because she stood up to the king basically said, we're going to do this, that, and the other, and that was her other half, and the religion or whatever it was at the time went, no, we're not going to do that, and overthrew the king and killed him with that. And because she wouldn't bow to their rule and said, no, I'm not doing that, they chucked her out of the top window and then bastardized her and said she was a vampire and she was this and she was the mother of all demons and this, that, and the other. So it just goes to show you what religion's like.
Well, absolutely. Oh, hang on a second, my laptop's going a little bit wacky. Bear with me.
It's aliens, that's what it is.
I'll tell you what, the aliens are obviously listening to the show. I'm going to get them.
They listen. Yeah,
I'm going to get a knock on the door, and there's going to be a bloke in a suit wearing a crocodile's head in a second.
Is that the one that went around Carrie's the other day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same guy. Nice guy. Bit snappy, but he's a nice guy.
He talks like he's got something in his teeth all the time.
Absolutely.
I think he said his name was Offler or something. Anyway, there's also, do you know what? Kerry did some, because I said to Kerry last week, you could do the research for this one. You did the research, and she's done some cracking research. And she's even got the references for the Bible and everything. And I suppose you can take that, because you got the snake in the Garden of Eden, not being an actual snake, but it was a reptilian who coerced Eve into eating the apple, which led them to being cast out of the Garden of Evil, because she was naughty Eve. Make of that what you will.
Well, because obviously back
Lilith, that was her.
Yeah. Lilith.
They also say she was Adam's first wife, but she was also the queen of the Sumerians. Lilith, yes. Anyway, sorry, you carry on.
All right. That's quite all right. No, I was just going to say, obviously the belief in the snake being the devil, the thing, the tempter, the being that was trying to get people to take the wrong path instead of the good path, with the apple. You can read whatever you want into that, but at the end of the day, when you look at some of the research and they say this is, if you believe that the whole planet and the whole human race comes down from these people and we have an overseer, which is this alien shapeshifter, why wouldn't it appear as a snake? Because obviously a snake being a reptile and all that sort of stuff.
So James Earl Jones is our overlord.
Exactly. Yeah, he wears. But he has a good dark suit. We like a bit of that dark suit.
He turned into a snake in one of the.
Yeah. But I'm going to say something probably a bit controversial for the Dark Mirror show.
Go on then.
I don't know. Well, yeah. Sorry, I'm going to say it. Obviously, the Bible was written about times that happened, but the Bible was written a long time after the facts, and it was word of mouth.
And it was written by men to control men.
Yeah, anything that has been written in past tense via word of mouth, it's like Chinese whispers. You play Chinese whispers at a party and you say one thing in somebody's ear, and by the time it gets to the other, it's like completely different story. So is that what the Bible is? I don't know.
Well, I say it's the greatest story ever told because it is a collection of stories written by people hundreds of years later who weren't actually there.
Absolutely. I'm not knocking anybody that believes anything because I think everybody has the right to believe in whatever they like, whether it's reptilian shapeshifters, whether it's flat planet, whether it's any of the religion organizations currently that's in the world, even down to the most craziest beliefs. I don't have an issue with any. I like talking about it. I like looking into it. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, even we sit here in Dudgeon sometimes and we look at people and go, wow, the Tinfoil Brigade are out. But some people can listen to us and go, wow, the Tinfoil Brigade are on the radio.
That's the thing. That's the thing. If you look at the main religion and you look at the Bible, if you put somebody that's sitting on a different planet come down and go, right, you basically had an immaculate conception. This person was then born who was the son of the higher being, and then basically died, came back to life, turned water into wine, fish into bread and all sorts. They'd go, what are you guys smoking down in that planet? But
pretty much,
that is the belief system, and people believe that, and I don't knock anybody to believe him. But if you look at it from an outsider's point of view, somebody that's been spinning around this planet in a spacecraft watching this, it must be like, what are these guys believing in?
So next week's episode of Earthlings.
Yeah, let's drop a few hints. Let's do a couple of crop circles. Let's have a flash around in a little spacecraft on social media so people get clips of it. Let's tell them that this is basically what's happened up there. Maybe that's what they're doing.
Do you know what? Talking of crop circles and things like that, there was do you know Project Blue Book?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Been watching it.
Yeah. Did you see the latest episode when they went into the warehouse and they saw a reptilian in the tank floating?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. See, kept on subject. And according to that, they use the reptilians as test pilots for their experimental ships.
Because of being cold-blooded.
Yeah, they can go up into the stratosphere.
They can go out in cold temperatures and this, that, and the other, which also links into science and everything like that. So we are incorporating proper science into the show, which is a bonus.
And Richard and Kerry are talking about the Anunnaki and the humans being used to mine gold. Yeah, you're right. We were used to mine gold because the Anunnaki's atmosphere on Nibiru was failing, and the machines that they use to redo it, a bit like terraforming, used gold. And they were basically lazy buggers who didn't want to mine the gold, so they made us in their image and did our DNA and manipulated it so that we were the slave race. And then apparently we used to live for a long, long time, and they went, yeah. Manipulated our DNA again. That's why about 20,000 years ago you get the leap in our DNA, and that's why we became self-aware, but very much shorter lived. So I'd quite frankly, I would, because was it 3/4 our DNA is locked and we don't know what it does.
Yep.
I know what mine does, but that's for another show.
That's a show that needs to be.
Exactly, ladies.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying. Anyway,
we just need some like 1970s music. Chicka wow wow.
Chicka wow wow. Put a big afro on and walk in through the door. Hey, I've come to fix your fridge.
Yeah.
Anyway, oh dear, I like the way this has gone from the Bible to Star Trek. I just carry blinding job. In Star Trek, the original series, which ran between 8 September 1966 to the 3rd of June 1969, that was the original throw yourself around the set Spock stuff, wasn't it? Shatner stuff. Yeah,
but you look at some of the stuff that's happened in that show, which has now become actual fact.
Tablets.
Yep.
The
communication devices, mobile phones,
Bluetooth.
There is that link between science. See,
really?
My reptilians just come out. That was a mating call. I'm just waiting for a few knocks on the window from a couple of lizards down the back. But no.
What the hell is that iguana doing to your doorknob?
Exactly. But no, it's the link between sci-fi and modern world.
Yeah, well, apparently there are 42 reptilian characters in it. And these species tried to join the Federation, but they were refused due to their hostility to other species. And that goes back to the Draconis lot, who were supposed to be the hierarchy of the aliens and be the nasty book for everybody.
But didn't they look like an alligator wearing a suit?
More like an alligator wearing a sarong.
Yeah, well, it was an alligator standing up wearing clothes.
Throwing papier-mâché rocks at people.
Yeah, but it was the 60s. They couldn't afford proper rocks.
Well, I don't know. In the 60s, pretty much everybody was getting their rocks off then. Do you see what I did there? Richard Clements, once again, you've got it wrong. There wasn't mating dragons. It was the Khaleesi and Jon Snow having a bit on the snow whilst the dragons watched. And one particular dragon was a bit pervy and grinning and winking.
And they did a close-up, which was great.
Of the dragon?
They panned over Jon Snow's shoulder.
Because he was looking over his shoulder.
Like those scenes on films you see where some perverts pushing
Sid James in the background going,
pushing his head against a transit's window in a lay-by in Wigan.
Oh, Christ. Anyway, there was also, and this is the one that it really brings reptilians to my mind, and I'm glad Kerry put it in there because I was going to bring it up anyway. The TV series, not the new one because it was rubbish. The original TV series with Robert Englund, his first starring role. I sat there when I was younger. It was the only thing my mum would let me stay up and watch was V. And I watched every single episode of it. And then when you saw the real agenda behind it and everything, and you were like, oh my God. And it was just like the best TV show ever. Reptilians in human form. The aliens disguise themselves as humans in order to put them off their guard. They claim that they're in need of a chemical substance on their planet, a bit like Nibiru, and ask for our help to produce it. In return, they offer to teach us about their advancements in science and technology. And little to the humans' knowledge do they know, the reptilians are in fact stealing our water and cryogenically freezing humans to transport back to their planet as lollipops.
I must admit, I was a big fan of V. I used to watch it, and
I loved it.
Yeah.
It's when they had the guinea pigs in their throat went blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but it was also it was great series, great show. Yeah, I liked a lot of it.
And it's the same with a lot of the conspiracy theories now when they talk about reptilians and disguised as humans and this, that, and the other. If they get cut deep enough, you'll see the green skin underneath with the flaps come off, and they had that in the series as well, and that was brilliant.
And that's carried on into some modern TV as well, isn't it?
It's carried on to lots and lots of modern TV.
Yeah.
But and there's also Enemy Mine. See, that's one film I've only ever seen a bit of. I've only ever seen a little bit of that, and I kept saying to myself, I must get that. But the movie where most of the reptilian theory philosophy comes from. On a distant planet, at the height of a war between the Dracon and Terran empires, so basically Earth and Draconis, two military pilots crash in the heat of battle. One is Terran, one is a reptilian. Each is a repulsive alien to the other. Each is a professional warrior, filled with hatred for his blood enemy. And now marooned on a hostile world, they have a choice. They can complete their missions in a mutual pact of violence and death, or they can do the most painful thing any human or Drac has ever done, and reach out and touch fate, and begin the new age of understanding that is struggling to be born.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you like that?
I like that, particularly the song moment halfway through it. I will put my hand on my heart. I've not seen the film. Never saw it. I might have to.
It's a good film. What do I remember of the bits I've seen?
Dig out and look at it. It was probably one of the only things on there that I was like, I've never seen that. Can't really comment on it, but
I'm more worried about you struggling to get it out and look at it, mate. I mean, really? You're alive on air?
Well, you never know. There could be somebody else looking through the window behind me.
I'm going to bleach my eyes. It's probably that iguana that's doing that to your doorknob still.
Yeah, he's lovely. Look, I'll just go like that.
No, that's not his doorknob. That's his. No, anyway.
Reach out and touch me.
Oh my. Anyway, you can read about the alien abduction on 1967.
Please don't. Please don't do that, because I'm still.
Father, from there.
Sorry, I'm flicking between about 4 different tablets, so I wasn't prepared for you to bat it back to me and go, you do that one. Alien abduction, 3rd of December 1967.
He's got to say his name properly. He's got to do his name in the Butch American voice, like
Herbert. I'll do the Butch American voice and alienate half of my friends that are probably listening. This is the story of a police officer, Herbert Schmiller. He was traveling. Schmiller.
It's Rimmer with a sh.
Yeah, Schmiller.
No, Rimmer with a sh in front.
And Schmiller. Shut up. I'm the one that's just come back from the States, not you. Anyway, this Herbert, who was a police
Rimmer, yes.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to.
His name is Schwimmer. It's
Rimmer, Pinger, whatever.
You to say Rimmer.
There
you go.
He's a police officer, and he was on the 3rd of December in 1967. He just happened to be traveling down Highway 63 between Ashland, Nebraska, when he came across a strange oval-shaped object that looked
for Easter.
Do you want to read this, or should I? You reptilian shapeshifter with your detachable limbs. I went there. So he came across this police officer travelling down a highway, came across this oval-shaped object. that looked metallic. The exterior was approximately 20 feet across. He initially said he'd observed that the object went away and then continued on his journey. It was approximately 2 months later when a UFO researcher, Leo Sprinkler, or Sprinkler, I can't pronounce names. God, don't ask me to read stuff at this time of night on a Friday.
No, I was laughing at the name, Leo Sprinkle.
Oh, sorry, okay. Came
A rimmer
across
and a
the
sprinkler.
case and mentioned it to Schrimmer. That he may have been missing time and convinced him to undergo hypnotic regression. Whilst under, he was greeted by several humans dressed in a uniform which had a snake insignia on it. They took him on board the craft and told him about the craft's propulsion system and suggested there was reptilian shapeshifters, human form. Unfortunately for Herbert, going public with those experiences didn't go so well. There's a amazing thing. You're going to say I went down a road, I lost a few hours, and I was then talking about reptilian shapeshifters. They're all going, he's had a couple of sherbet dip dabs.
Yeah, exactly.
He never returned to the police force. There's a surprise as well. And was publicly ridiculed. There's another big surprise. And he never spoke about it in public again.
I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, the poor bloke. If that genuinely happened, and he genuinely reported it, thinking and doing his duty, like this happened, that blah blah blah, and then somebody's gone and regressed him. Which the only problem I've got with regression is I want it done to myself. But if you've already got a preconceived idea in your head, as far as I'm aware, that comes out in the regression.
Absolutely. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. It's amazing. But like you say, people go in with preconceptions and that comes out in hypnosis. So, Is it preconceptions or is it the truth? I don't know. That's a subject for another show.
Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know.
Yeah, Windling.
More likely for me, yeah. Will you flick? Look, can you flick that iguana off your door a second, mate?
He's gone. He's spent and he's left.
Jesus!
But he's this guy who's a police officer who's supposed to be law-abiding, respected, and he reported this down official channels. Said that he saw this craft, and then via hypnotic regression, he then explained that he was went on board this ship where these creatures told him about reptilian shapeshifters and this, that, and the other, and this is what I get about UFO abduction cases. They're either, they just abducted me and then they put me down a couple of days later and nothing happened. Or the other people, they abducted me, they probed me with various different objects and then they put me down on something. Or there was a reptilian going,
yeah. But it's, as you said, he was a policeman, and he was obviously stand-up person in his community, and then he's just completely ridiculed himself. What sort of person would do that on purpose? They wouldn't.
Absolutely. But you've got to take every case on its own merits. Look at the evidence.
I think he saw something. Because we've discussed this in previous shows, this particular case, and I genuinely think he saw something. Whether it was a giant asteroid, I don't know. But I do genuinely think he saw something. But it's the regression I'm not sure about, because as we've both said, if you've got a preconceived idea, that's going to come out in it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it will come out no matter what.
So, anyway, moving swiftly on, because we're only 5 minutes left. Blimey, today's gone by fast. Shall we talk about the Draconis and the idea of ufology, and that they all come from the Draco constellation?
Why don't we, Mark?
Okay, we will. You have a sip of your drink, and I'll do this.
Okay,
I got this.
Yes.
You're welcome. Despite its size and designation as the 8th largest constellation, Draco, the dragon constellation, is not especially prominent. The name is derived from the Latin term Dracornem, meaning huge Oh, serpent, even better. And the constellation literally snakes its way through the northern sky. Draco is circumpolar, meaning that it never sets below the horizon and is always visible in the northern hemisphere. The North remembers. But cannot be seen in the southern hemisphere.
Winter is coming.
Oh, please not get me an umbrella if it does. A meteor shower, known as the Draconoids, appears to radiate from Draco's head. Oh, Jesus Christ. So the dragon's head has got Draconoids coming out of it.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, the name Draco has been linked to several dragons in Greek mythology. One version is that Cadmus slayed the dragon Draco in his quest to find his sister Europa, who'd been taken to Crete by Zeus. In another account, the Athenian goddess Minerva, I thought Minerva was Roman. I'm sure Minerva was Roman.
Well, I was going to say, I've stayed at the Europa in Belfast. Lovely hotel. Blown up several times by the army. Never mind.
No, I'm sure. Yeah, Minerva wasn't Greek. She was Roman. But anyway, took Draco by the tail and put it into the sky during the battle for Mount Olympus. Draco has also been identified in early Christianity as the serpent that tempted Eve in the Garden of Eden. So basically, long story short, all the way down through the ages, reptilian, aliens, shapeshifters, whatever they are, they have appeared in various forms, shapes and sizes to everybody, rich and famous, poor and alike. Various accounts have been written down, but various accounts have been twisted to various people's own end, i.e., you must eat this apple, Eve, because it controls people. But are the Draconis reptilians, are they actually our alien overlords? And apparently
are we the slave race?
Yes, and apparently Kerry Greenaway has very, very little probing going on her way at the moment. So, yes. Anyway,
I believe there's been some sightings above Canvey Island, so you never know, Kerry.
Well, Kerry's got 2 weeks off. If there are things in the newspaper about Uranus and stuff like that seen over Canvey Island, we know what's going on, but we will keep your secret safe.
Yeah, and I from Kent, I look over towards Essex, so I'll keep an eye out for those beacons in the sky.
If there's beacons in the sky, all I can say is put your top off back on, love. No,
that wasn't. I was just thinking of a song, but that's a different story.
Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was for some reason.
It was, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. I mean, there are lots and lots of. I could go on and on and on and on and on.
I'm glad we've only gone out because we would literally go on and on and on about the crazies, the conspiracy theories, everything to do about this subject. And I know we've done it in a sort of jokey manner tonight, but we've covered some facts, which is a novelty for the Dark Mirror Show. But we do cover facts.
We do every show. Thank you very much, young man.
But exactly, that's what I'm saying. But we've done it in a jokey way. We've done nothing to be disrespectful. We've just done it in our usual. This is what me and Mark do when we meet each other, when we chat. This is the banter that we have. We go off on different tangents. So, but it is an interesting subject. Are we the slave race? Are these reptilian shapeshifters running the world? Is Beyonce the Grammy-winning music?
Death by Snoo Snoo.
Kicking ass, and then when she gets backstage, shredding her skin and comes out looking like a lizard. We don't know this, but it potentially could be it.
Well, and also, is our fair country being ruled or governed over by a presiding lizard? According to David Icke, yes.
At the moment, I would probably go with the lizard than the current people that are in charge in this government. Even opposition.
Her name is Elizabeth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe the old Queen whips it off and gives old Philip a.
I don't want to know about an old Queen whipping something off and giving Philip something. That's a completely different show.
Yeah, we better. It's an hour now. We better stop now before we get taken off air and banned.
Oh dear! Next week's show. What was it? I've forgotten. I'm trying to remember. Next week's show. Oh, I knew it was going to come up. We are going to be asked about
Well, I can tell you.
cattle mutilations.
Yes.
There you go.
We've gone from alien to ripping those cows to bits.
Oh no, cattle. Oh
This
no.
is going to be another interesting show because this is another common urban myth or conspiracy theory where you see aliens in the sky or you see lights in the sky and then all of a sudden cows suddenly start appearing with various things.
Cows start appearing.
Yeah, you know.
A cow goes up to one of the ranches in the Midwest and goes, "Moo! Look!" and points towards its bottom head. It's not there. What happened? Tex, what were you doing?
Exactly. But the Dark Mirror Show will be talking about cow mutilation. These rabbit holes just get bigger and deeper and darker. But we will be talking about that. So,
well, on the Dark Mirror Show, we are not afraid to tackle any subject, up to and including cow's bottoms.
Mm-hmm. And
on that note,
it will be myself and Mark again, because obviously Carrie's on. She's on a little bit of a holiday.
She's on maternity leave.
And
yes.
she'll be back in.
Not really. She's not really.
She'll be back in a couple of weeks. So you're going to have to put up with the crazy duo of Mr. Mark Manley and myself.
And this is done without the aid of drugs or alcohol as well. So, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say alcohol.
Well, in my case, it isn't. So, anyway, remember, if you like this show, you can always listen to it again. You go on Thingamyjob, Podbeam, and YouTube, and you can always go on to Spreaker. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. There you are, got that in there. Ba-dum. And it whips the air. And I've just got to say hello, good evening, and aliens, and thank you very much for joining me in this show, Carl. And I don't think we did too bad without the lovely Kerry with us. I know she's probably rolling her eyes and got through about half a dozen bottles of wine and going, I can't believe it did that to me. But on that note, I will say good night. Thank you for listening, and look out for the cow's bumholes next week. And Carl, say good night.
Yes, I'll be probing into the cow's buttocks next week on next week's Dark Mirror Show. I would just like to say thanks to Mark as well. It's always a pleasure chatting to you, and we will be back next week discussing more strange and bizarre on the Dark Mirror Show. Good night, and thanks for listening. Like we say, get over to the socials, like, share, and subscribe. We love you lots, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you for listening. Don't forget to join us for more shows throughout the week. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and the World Wide Web to keep up to date with all the shows right here on Parasearch Radio.